Hello, 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 everyone. How are you today? I hope that you are doing well. If you don't know, I'm Q of Eclectic Tarot, and here on my channel, I like to use tarot as a tool to investigate the hidden energetics surrounding people and events. I also like to share my thoughts and opinions on a variety of different things as a spiritual worker. And last but not least, I like to share and hold astrological discussions on people and events. Okay, so today is Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. And if you don't know, here in the United States, it is a presidential election year. So this week on June 27th, CNN is hosting the first presidential candidate debate of the year, and that is going to be held between former President Donald Trump and current President of the United States, Joe Biden. Okay, so with all of this ramping up, we are getting into the happenings, the events of an election year here in the United States. I thought it would be interesting to kind of look at the astrological charts of our candidates. And right now, being that the presidential debate on CNN is only being um, offered or being held with Donald Trump and Joe Biden as the candidates, because if I remember correctly, other candidates from the Green Party and the Independent Party, they weren't able to um, meet the goals, check off the boxes to be at the presidential election. I'm sorry, to be at the presidential debate that's being held by CNN. So this debate is only going to, have Donald Trump and Joe Biden there debating it out. So, like I said, with all this going on, I thought it would be interesting to try and get to know the candidates, the debate candidates, but let's try and get to know them astrologically. Today, we are going to examine Donald Trump's natal chart. And we're going to see if we can esoterically ascertain and derive what makes him tick. Because let's be honest, this man is a wild card. He says things that are outrageous. He does things that make you question reality. And he has really been in the news lately, okay, with the trial. Okay, the trial, the accusations, there was, we had the talk with regard to Stormy Daniels, and he's been convicted, and he's running for a second term as president of the United States. So, we're going to get into his natal chart. We're going to look around and see what's up. So, if you are curious about who he is as a person on a spiritual and esoteric level, be sure to keep watching. Okay. So let me go ahead and bring up his astrological chart so that we can, kind of get into it. So we can get into it. Okay. So let me add that in. All right. All right. Here we are. Okay. So Donald Trump was born June 14th, 1946 in Queens, New York. Okay. So he is a Gemini Sun and he had a birthday this month. He is a Sagittarius Moon and he is a Leo rising. Okay. We see that Leo rising right there. Now, getting into it, he has a Gemini Sun. And for him, this sun is in his 11th house. And this is the house of networking. This is the house of people. This is the house of groups. Okay. This is a house that is ruled by Aquarius. Okay. So we're talking about associations. And make no mistake about it, the 11th house is a public house. So we see him. He was literally born to be seen. Not only was he born to be seen, he was born to be important, right? As it pertains to group of people. And if we're really thinking about it, we can think of the United States, we can think about the Republican Party, we can think about these two things as groups of people, right? Because a country is a group of people. And even as it pertains to the Republican Party, that's still a group of people. Okay. And looking into it even more, just looking at this sun in his 11th house, the ruler of the sun, if we're talking about zodiac signs, that's Leo. So this is tying into Leo energies, his sun in 11th house. So this is going to be popularity. This is going to be being seen. This is being someone who shines bright. Now, bright doesn't always mean good, but it does mean that someone who shines bright, who is seen. Okay, so tying into his Leo energies and Leo being the natural home of the sun, and Leo is his rising sign, okay? Leo is his rising sign. So we're going to get into that a little bit more. I kind of want to touch on his Sagittarius moon. Now, his Sagittarius moon, it's there. His Sagittarius moon is there in the 5th house, but with this Sagittarius moon, okay, we have the moon is watery on an elemental basis. Sagittarius is fiery on an elemental basis. So we have the combination of fire and water, and this is bringing to him a sense of adventure. He has a sense of adventure. He has a sense of luck that when he proposes things are going to work out okay. He doesn't see, the blind spots and maybe some things that he plans and does because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is where we're getting a lot of our luck, right? So this Sagittarius moon, again, he's gonna risk take. He's going to risk take. That Sagittarius energy has to do something, and there's an element of risk taking with that Sagittarius, okay? So this combination of fire and water, he has that sense of adventure. He is going to do the things. He is going to go out into the world and do the things, but he is not here for the emotions. Okay? He's not here for the emotions, especially when for for him and for a lot of different people, emotions can hinder him, can hinder you from making important and pivotal moves in life, okay? A lot of people don't want to deal with the emotions, right? They feel like emotions will just weigh you down, but we are humans, we are emotional as much as we are as logical, right? But this Sagittarius moon for him, yeah, he's not going to deal with the emotions. He is not going to deal with the emotions. And for him, it thinking too hard and too deep about it or feeling too deep about it, it's taking the fun out of it because when those emotions get in there, right, and they start to do things to you, that is that's taking the fun out of things. Okay. This is someone who is going to do the things almost in, the stereotypical um Animal House college frat boy style. This is the risks. These are the things that he's doing. It's doing things. It's impulse, right? So he's not going to want to deal with the emotions because the emotions are going to weigh him down and they're going to take away from the fun that the impulse energy of this Sagittarius moon gives him. Okay. All right. So let's move on. It's funny, his Taurus midheaven, you can see it there. His Taurus is up there in the 10th house. He has a Taurus midheaven. And I find it very interesting, right? That Taurus, which is normally when we're talking about the second house ruler Taurus is Venusian, right? This is Venus energy. For him, what we have really, really known him as before he became president is money. Okay, we've known him for luxury, for Trump Tower, for his show of being the boss in The Apprentice, right? For possessions, for the personal freedom that money can buy someone, right? A lot of times we establish ourselves, right? We look at each other, and unfortunately we judge other people based on how much money that they make or don't make. So I find it kind of funny and interesting that his Taurus midheaven, again, Venus energy, is there in his 10th house. Okay. And again, before we knew him as president of the United States, he was a known wealthy money guy, a wealthy businessman, a boss, a lover, a purveyor of fine items, fine dining, and luxurious things. So whether we like him or not, right? And again, I don't know him personally. I don't hate him. I don't like him. I'm pretty neutral. If anything, we're always reacting to things that he does and he says, but knowing him as a person, I don't know him. I actually think he's kind of funny. I think he's kind of funny, and some of the things are just like, what are you saying? What are you saying? Like, I can't believe that, you said that, right? But again, I'm pretty neutral. But yeah, he was meant to have money. He was meant to have money, and that money was supposed to bring him that focal point, right? We know him as a wealthy businessman, okay? There are a lot of people who are businessmen, businesswomen who are wealthy, who have money, but they're not in the spotlight like him. And he is in the spotlight. That is this 10th house Taurus placement. Because again, the ninth house, the 10th house, the 11th house, those are very, very public houses. And, it just really doesn't get any higher than a ninth house and a 10th house. So he was meant to be out there. He was meant to have money. He was meant to be known as someone who was a wealthy businessman with money. So again, it just is what it is. Now, he was born at 10:54 a.m. in Queens, New York. So he has a day chart. And when we're talking about day charts and night charts, the most positive planet for a day chart is Jupiter, and the most negative planet for a day chart is Mars. Okay. So I kind of want to start with Mars, right? Especially because Mars, if we are looking, Mars is in his first house. Now, traditionally, Mars does rule the first house. This is the first house of self. This is who you are as an individual and how you approach life. So, Mars in his first house, and this Mars is in Leo. Again, we have fire, fire, fire. Mars is fire, Leo is fire. And then pulling back from his moon, that Sagittarius moon in fire, this is a fiery person. This is especially with the Mars in the first house in Leo, this is a man's man. This is man. This is malehood. This is driving force. This is the energetics of I am doing things. This is the energetics. Some of it may be a little bit sexist as well. Okay. So Mars in Leo in the first house, fire and fire and fire. Can we say full of himself? Can we say full of himself? This is main character energy. And I mean, listen, we know he's full of himself, right? He's full of himself. He thinks highly of himself, but this is why. Okay, again, main character energy. And with his rising sign being Leo, this is bold. Not only is it main character energy, it's charismatic, it's confident, and it's bold. Okay. This is someone who is going to put on a show. This is celebrity energy, okay? So Mars in his first house in Leo and Leo rising, this is giving this man confidence levels the size of the continent of Africa. Okay. I mean, confidence is through the roof, and he's really not going to care um about how you see him and perceive him. I mean, yes, all of us do to a certain extent, but this is the person, this is I'm Tarzan, you're Jane. This is energetics of no one is here to see you, Otis. This is the energetics of we don't know anyone else. I don't know her. This is who this man is, and I think that we have seen that not only throughout the things that he says, but I mean, again, we all know Donald Trump. Again, there are a bunch of other businessmen and women who, are very wealthy and well off and whatnot, who he runs in circles with. We don't know their names. We know him. Okay. Now, a big part of his identity is to conquer. Okay. A big part of his identity is to conquer, especially with Mars there in the first house. Mars is going to be your combative energy, but combative energy isn't just to fight. The combative energy is to rule, is to take over. Okay. So he's going to conquer. He wants to conquer. He wants to rule, right? Some of that is leadership energy, especially with Leo there, but he wants to rule. Okay. Whether it be in business or whether it's ruling over other people. Okay. He is going to be out front. He is going to be the one making the rules. He is the one going to be making the decisions. You are going to do what he says. Okay. Another part of his identity, I mean, if we're being honest, it's sex. It's sex. Mars literally is, if you look around society today, you will see the Mars symbol for like men's restrooms. You will see the Venus symbol for women's restrooms. Baby, that Mars, that Mars symbol, this right here, that's a penis. Okay, that's a penis. So sex and who he is as a sexual person, having sex, lots of sex. Sex is a large part of his identity. He has to do it. He has to have it. And I mean, listen, we're humans for the most part. A lot of us, sex is a thing. It's part of us being human. It's part of how the human race reproduces itself. So sex is a big thing for him. Now, if we're also taking note, Pluto is also there in his first house. Now, Pluto is a higher octave of Mars, but Pluto in Leo, okay? And although it's not conjunct with his Mars in Leo, that it's, some people consider it to be a same sign conjunction. Um there is a desire for him to rule, to conquer, but the Pluto is going to take it a little too far. Okay, Pluto is going to reach down in the depths of things. Pluto wants to transform. Pluto is going to destroy. It's going to destroy to transform, but paired with that Leo energy and the Mars energy, this can be a little dangerous. This can be a little dangerous. Okay. I think we have, you can look on Google yourself and see. I think there were recent claims that he allegedly said that he would send people after Biden if he won the presidential election. That's not a good thing. That's not a good, like what does that mean, right? Okay, going back to the outrageous things he does and he says, right? Going back to the outrageous things that he does and he says. So this can be dangerous if it's left unchecked, if it's not harnessed to do something that's going to be good and beneficial for all. This can be dangerous, but again, this Pluto in his first house. This is main character energy. This is tyrant energy if it's left unchecked. Okay, this can be very, very dangerous. So I just want to make it known that, I mean, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. So also with this Pluto here, and we're talking about, Mars is the penis. um This Pluto here has the ability to bring about kinky sex, raunchy sex, um going so far as public sex. The raunchy and debauchery, going to the little bit of the dark side with sex. Yeah, it has the potential to manifest out like that. I don't know anything about his sex life. Okay, but I think I do remember reading that it was alleged by Stormy Daniels that, they were doing the thing, and she was spanking him with a magazine. Okay? I wasn't there. I don't know. This is what has been alleged by Miss Stormy Daniels. So, yeah. Now, again, like I said, this Pluto energy, Pluto's going to break things down, it's going to transform, but that conquer energy of Mars, um it could potentially lead to tyranny. Okay, potentially lead to tyranny. Hashtag Project 2025, but that's another story. Okay, let's keep going. Now, his Mars is trining his moon, so yep, that is just more fuel, adding more fuel to the fire that propels him to be active, to take charge, and get things done. Again, we talked about the fieriness of the moon in Sagittarius, right? Now, I kind of want to look at, you can see it here, this 12th house um, stellium he has going on in Cancer right here. Venus and Saturn are in conjunction. Okay. Now, Saturn really isn't the happiest here in Cancer. Um, it's not good, it's not bad. It's not the worst place for Saturn to be. But with this Saturn here in Cancer, I kind of see this as maybe having a hard time with expressing feelings, holding things in, bottling things up, and conjunct the Venus. It's hard for him. It's hard for him as it pertains to relationships. And when I mean relationships, both platonic and romantic. Okay. He has a hard time. He has a hard time with real, true friendships and romantic partnerships. Okay. He has a hard time. Okay. Now, if he gets into one, say a marriage, it's probably going to last. But just because someone is in a long lasting marriage doesn't mean that it's happy, right? It doesn't mean that it's a happy, loving partnership. Okay. I feel like there's a part of him that wants to love, and there's a part of him that wants to express and show that love, but it's kept locked away. Okay, now this is going on here in his 12th house, and 12th house is secrets. It's hiding things, it's things that are unseen, it's locking things away. And I really feel like he does repress a lot. I feel like he represses a lot of energy. And, again, talking about these long term relationships, both romantic and platonic, um, we see how he gets rid of people. He gets rid of people and he cheats. He has been known to be a cheating spouse. Okay. Okay, again, talking about secrets and hidden activities, especially with the self destruction, right? Because Pisces is, it's the ruler of the 12th house, so there's watery depths there. Um, Stormy Daniels, much okay, allegations of Donald Trump cheating with Stormy Daniels, and I think if I'm remembering, was his wife Melania? Did she just have a baby? Okay, so just having a baby, your wife is just having a baby, and you out here cheating. Okay, mm, not really good with the with the romantic partnerships and relationships. Again, just because a partnership is long, okay, and stable, and no one has left yet, doesn't mean that it's good, and doesn't mean that it's happy. Okay. Now, if we look at his Mercury in Cancer, here it is right here at 8 degrees. It's not the worst placement for Mercury, but it doesn't really make for good communication. It doesn't really make for good communication. Mercury, like I said, it's not the worst place, but it's not the best place either. For Mercury, we have some issues with communication going on. Okay. We have some issues with communication. And I really feel like, um, again, talking about potential same sign conjunctions, even though it's not really a close conjunction, not at all, not by a mile. Mercury's at 8 degrees, Saturn is at 23 degrees, Venus is at 25 degrees, but I feel like all of this meshes together. And I kind of feel like sometimes he's feeling misunderstood. Okay. Definitely some moodiness there. Some moodiness there. And again, you know, um, that potentially affects his communication. Sometimes, he's just on a tirade, an emotional tirade, and he's just saying things. And then sometimes he, sounds eh, you know, normal. Whatever normal means for you. But yeah. Okay. So I kind of want to transition down here. Okay. So Jupiter, remember we talked about a day chart with Jupiter being the most beneficial. I mean, I'm sorry. Remember we talked about Jupiter, we're talking about communication, and again, yeah, the most positive planet is going to be Jupiter. Um for a day chart. It's early morning as I'm recording this. I have not had anything yet, so forgive me. My mind is a little out there, but yeah. So Jupiter in Libra in his third house. Third house is the house of communication, right? We know Mercury to rule that house. So seeing Jupiter in Libra, which is an air sign, and Jupiter in this third house, also ruled by Mercury, which is airy. We have air on top of air. He has a large network. He has a large network of people in his life. Okay. Connections, lawyers, executives, colleagues, other people at his disposal. And I kind of feel like he has had this network available to him from his childhood. Okay. Because the third house is the house of things from when you were young, things taking place when you were young, as you are growing up, right? So he has had a lot of people at his disposal in his network, people that he can learn from, talk to, be active with from a young age. And again, talking about a wide network because Jupiter is going to expand, 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 expand. So when we're talking about um in Libra, Libra is, some of the social circles, the talking, the communication. Um, he's had this available to him, which is part of his success, right? Because a lot of times your network is your network. Now, Neptune is also there in the third house. And Neptune, you can examine things. A lot of times people want to talk about the fluffiness of planets, especially with Neptune. Oh, you're going to go deep down. You're going to the emotional depths. Baby, Neptune is murky. Neptune is going to murk things up. Okay, I'm not here with the fluffy. Neptune is going to murk things up. Neptune is going to make things, it's like stirring up dirt and water. You can't see things. So there is room for deception. Okay, there is room for hidden things to take place. Okay. So deceptions, especially as it pertains to communication, right? Saying things that are, like what the hell? What the hell are you saying? Some people may have thought that as a president, he was saying things that he shouldn't say as a president. There's a potential for candidates, not just talking about him, but just candidates overall to lie and say some of anything in order to get someone's vote. So yeah, deception as it pertains to communication. But for this, Neptune is going to come in with the deception to the point of fantasy. Okay, again, he has said some things that are just like, what? Like, you can't be serious. Saying some things like, sir, you are imagining this, that's unconstitutional, right? And again, Jupiter is there. It's giving sign-based conjunction, and again, big lies, big fantasies. Yes, you have a large network. Um, you're going to talk, you're going to speak, you're going to communicate things, but big lies, big fantasies. Okay. I would also go so far as to say that this could be where he rambles, and rambling again, and going back to that Mercury in Cancer in the 12th house, that's more Neptune Piscean energy, right? Um yeah, he's gonna ramble, he's gonna say some things, but the thing about it is, we tend to hear it. A lot of people hear it, a lot of people experience it because of his network and his position in society. Okay. We hear those things, we see these things. They are going to be granted on the front stage. Now, looking up here, okay, Uranus is here, okay, in Gemini with his sun, and Uranus is the ruler of the 11th house, and Uranus is happy here. But if we are looking at him overall as an entire person, as a human being, the Uranus is erratic, and he just does shit. Okay, Uranus is there in Gemini, again, communication. He's still out here saying some shit. He just says shit. Okay, the things that he does are erratic. The things that he says are erratic, unconventional. And listen, sometimes it's just like he pulled it out of his ass. He's making it up as he goes along, right? Here's the thing. He does all of this crazy shit, all of the off the wall things, all of the erratic things, all of the sudden things. He does it for himself. Again, remember, he's a main character. He is a main character. But, he does it for himself to propel himself forward, to gain whatever power or advantage that he can. But 11th house energy, everyone else experiences the fallout. We experience the fallout. As a president, when a president does things, says things, right, the global world is looking at us, and we are the ones who are going to experience the fallout and the ramifications of what he is saying. I remember traveling back in, oh goodness, what was it? 2020, going on vacation with my husband. And the first thing, when the hotel um bellhop was helping us with our luggage to our room, the first thing they said was, we don't like Trump. So imagine being American citizens going to another country, and the first thing that the citizen of that country talks to you about is, what the hell is going on with your president, right? So again, he says things, he does things, he wants the advantage, he wants to win, he wants to conquer. All these things that he does are for himself, to aid himself. But baby, we are the ones who are experiencing the fallout. Okay, and because Gemini is a mutable sign, and mutable signs are the signs of transition and breakdown before the next energetic change, again, we feel it. We feel it. And again, when someone is in a position like president and they're just doing things, the rest of us feel it. Okay. It's also giving flaky. It's giving flaky. It's okay to say it's giving flaky, because he's really only going to commit to do the things that are good for him. He's really only going to commit to do the things that are good for him. So, um, I think that for the most part, I've covered a lot of the major energetics. Um, yeah, I've covered a lot of the major energetics. I mean, yeah, we can see the oppositions of Uranus and the sun in Gemini to the moon in Sagittarius. There's a battle between what are you doing and how are you doing these things. Who's it going to benefit? Yeah, it's opposition. Just don't know, can't agree on how to do things, but either way, he's going to do some things. He's going to do some things. He is going to do some things, and they're always going to be for his benefit. I mean, it's main character energy. Now, just because this is an astrological chart and, all of us have our interesting planetary and sign placements, but we can always learn to rise above and to better harness our energies and our energetics, right? To help ourselves, to also help others and build a community, right? But, I'm not sure if he's aware of astrology or not, but I would say that everyone has a potential to change. It's just, do they want to? Do they want to change? Do they want to do better? Okay. So a lot of what we're seeing here in his astrological chart, we've seen it play out, right? Um on the main stage, both as a celebrity, as a businessman, a wealthy businessman, him saying things, him wanting to be in charge, him wanting to be a leader, right? Again, he is running for president of the United States for a second term here in 2024. So, again, a lot of things that he's doing um, are definitely for him. So, with that being said, I am going to get out of here. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank everyone for spending time here with me today. And hopefully, this will give you some insight into who Donald Trump is esoterically, energetically, as a person. So I'm going to get out of here. I love you all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.